In the spring of 1992, in the rural village of Xi'an in China's Zhejiang province, a group of local farmers decided to pool their resources to buy a mechanical water pump. For generations, the landscape had been punctuated by deep, mysterious water-filled pools that the locals referred to as bottomless ponds. Suspecting these were natural geological features or ancient flooded quarries, they began pumping the water out of one specific pool to catch the fish trapped inside. 17 days and nights of continuous pumping later, the water level dropped to expose something that completely upended the historical timeline of East Asian civil engineering. Emerging from the receding water was not a natural sinkhole or a primitive mine, but the grand entrance to a colossal, precision-engineered subterranean city carved directly into the solid siltstone bedrock. As regional authorities and speleologists flooded the area, they drained subsequent pools, ultimately uncovering an interconnected network of 24 massive, hand-carved underground caverns spanning a surface footprint of over 30,000 square meters. This subterranean labyrinth, known today as the Longyou Caves, represents one of the largest underground excavations of the ancient world. Yet, as historians began cross-referencing imperial archives, royal annals, and local tax records spanning 3,000 years of Chinese history, they encountered an absolute historical void. The construction of these 24 gargantuan chambers required the excavation and removal of nearly 1 million cubic meters of solid stone, a public works project on par with the Great Wall or the Terracotta Army. Yet there is absolutely zero written mention of their construction, their purpose, or the civilization that engineered them anywhere in the historical record. To decode the origin of these silent vaults without altering the pristine surfaces of the stone, modern civil engineers and geologists deployed high-resolution 3D LiDAR mapping, acoustic sonar profiling, and structural density scans. The data retrieved by the lasers exposed an unparalleled mastery of structural mechanics and stone-cutting precision. The caverns were not cleared haphazardly. Each chamber was designed with massive single-piece load-bearing pillars left behind from the native rock, carved into dramatic, leaning trapezoidal shapes that mimic the natural distribution of geologic weight. Modern structural load-bearing software confirms that the thickness of the stone roofs above each hall, paired with the precise mathematical spacing of these columns, is the exact reason the entire 24-room complex has avoided structural collapse, ceiling failure, or catastrophic cave-ins for over 2,000 years, despite the region being hit by major earthquakes throughout history. When the 3D laser scanners mapped the surface textures of the walls and ceilings, the forensic data exposed an even deeper engineering anomaly. Every square inch of the vast siltstone walls across all 24 caverns is covered in uniform, parallel lines carved at a precise 60-degree angle. These markings were not decorative reliefs added after excavation, they are the actual physical signatures of the tools used to cut the rock away. Microscopic scans of the chisel marks reveal that the ancient stone cutters utilized specialized, identical-width bronze or iron chisels, striking the rock with uniform force across thousands of vertical square meters. The sheer mathematical alignment of these markings across separate, multi-level chambers suggests a highly disciplined, state-controlled workforce operating under strict centralized engineering templates. The logistics of the excavation present a massive missing material puzzle for modern investigators. Excavating 1 million cubic meters of siltstone by hand requires an enormous labor force working for decades, generating hundreds of thousands of tons of rock debris and tailing piles. Siltstone is a highly distinct, heavy material that does not degrade easily. Yet, across the entire surrounding region of Zhejiang province, comprehensive ground-penetrating radar scans and aerial surveys have failed to locate a single tailing pile, a waste dump, or any evidence of where that mountain of excavated stone was transported. It has completely vanished from the landscape. Furthermore, despite the immense labor required to cut these halls out of absolute darkness, chemical analysis of the ceilings found zero traces of charcoal, soot, or smoke residue, proving that the workers were not utilizing standard ancient oil lamps or pine torches to illuminate their deep underground work zones. Mainstream archaeological estimates cautiously place the origin of the Longyou Caves back to the period of Warring States, roughly around 212 BC, suggesting they may have been commissioned by the ancient kingdom of Yu as a covert military staging ground, a hidden weapons cache, or a grain storage facility capable of surviving a protracted siege. Siltstone acts as a natural climate insulator, keeping temperature and humidity levels completely stable year-round, making it the ideal environment for preserving ancient agricultural provisions or military supplies. However, this theory is challenged by the lack of any domestic artifacts, military hardware, organic waste, or human remains found inside the chambers during initial drainage. The floors were left completely swept, pristine, and entirely empty. The isolation of the caverns is further complicated by sonic resonance mapping. When acoustic engineers conducted sound wave distribution tests inside the largest halls, they discovered that the specific curvature of the chiseled walls and the geometry of the trapezoidal pillars create a unique acoustic dampening effect. Low-frequency sound waves do not echo or propagate outward through the entrances. Instead, they are absorbed by the parallel grooved surfaces of the siltstone. If thousands of soldiers or workers were moving or training inside these subterranean vaults, the sound of their operations would be completely undetectable to anyone standing on the surface directly above them. Today, the vast majority of the 24 Longyou Caves remain strictly closed to the public, sealed off to preserve their delicate microclimates from atmospheric degradation, and to allow structural engineers to continue monitoring the density of the siltstone pillars. Suspended between an absolute lack of written imperial records, a missing mountain of excavated stone debris, and the immaculate mathematical precision of thousands of 60-degree chisel marks, the hidden city of Longyou stands as a profound testament to a forgotten peak of ancient engineering. Through the lens of non-invasive 3D LiDAR and sonar mapping, modern science has exposed the physical reality of this subterranean masterpiece. Even as the identity of the minds who drew its blueprints remains locked in absolute historical silence.